Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm so excited for some Blender stuff. Hi, H. Perun and Sims Lady. Thanks for being here. How's everyone else doing today? Like a big reason I wanted to do a Blender tutorial is because when I first started making CC, the Blender version that worked with Sims 4 Studio, I think it was like 2.7. And I remember when they even added features for 2.9, and that was like, or they added the ability for Blender 2.9 to work with Sims 4 Studio, and that was like a big deal. And then Blender 3.0 came out, and that was like a totally different like UI, and like the buttons changed a little bit, which sounds small but is actually really significant. So I've actually stayed with Blender 2.7 the whole time I've made CC. So I thought it'd be fun if we learned Blender 3. I don't even know. I think it's actually Blender 4.0 now, but well, I'm going to go through the process of what it's like to how you find out what version works with Sims 4 Studio. So we'll go look at that. There's lots of different ways to download it, and sometimes it's tricky to get the older versions, but I actually found a quicker way through the Windows App Store the other day. So I'll show you that. And then we'll look at the UI together, because I was even using it the other day, and they just moved some stuff and I cannot find it. So I was like, let's just do this together. It'll be fun. So yeah, what's everyone's level of experience with Blender? Um, is anyone else like tried creating CC or anything like that? Hi, Jacob. Hi, Banyan. At 3.3 for Sims 4 Studio. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. So I'm gonna get my screen pulled up over here. If you guys give me just a minute to get settled. Blender is really, I thought it was a bit challenging to learn initially. But the cool thing is Blender is on, so many people have it, and because it's like freeware, there's so many tutorials on it. But a lot of times it's a lot more complex than it needs to be. So yeah, hi P-Dub Hall and Amethyst Lilac. Yes, it is a lot of failing. That is 100% for sure. I resonate with that a lot. Okay, cool. I have my chats up. Sorry, I just need to make sure I have these all good to go. Jacob opened it and closed it because he couldn't figure it out. Watched a few tutorials, but I haven't tried again yet. Yeah, and cars so hard. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just a little challenging. So let's jump into it so I can kind of go through it. And so I'm doing this real time, so you guys should hopefully be able to follow through. But also, if you don't have the exact version of Blender that I'm using, I think as long as you're in Blender 3-ish, that'll be fine. But if you are in Blender 2, like I was, you'll need to update in order to follow along, because we're going to the new one, as painful as it might be. Okay. Oh, okay, let's see here. Um, I'm looking for something on my other channel. Give me 1 sec. Hi, Day Tonight. You came again. Okay. Cool. So, Sims 4 Studio is so it kind of dictates what blender you want to have, but the cool thing is with I don't know, I guess it's up to you guys. What I'm also realizing is the cool thing with Blender is that you can copy and paste in between versions of Blender. So even going from if you have like two Blender windows open. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, if you have two Blender windows open, you can just control C to copy and control V to paste in between like Blender 3.0 and 2.0. So you kind of are able to use the newer versions. I think what I downloaded recently was the newest one. I'll have to see. I downloaded it from Windows. But either way, I'll show you because ultimately, if you want to import into Sims 4 Studio, you need to have the correct version that works with Sims 4 Studio. So how you can find out where that is go to sims4studio.com and then just get on the homepage, downloading and installing, downloading, and then go to whichever one you are. I'm Windows. Just follow the links. It'll get you there. Once you get to this page, this is like or at least it used to be. This looks maybe a little bit new because it's only one page. Oh yeah, see, it's a little bit of an ongoing thread with all of the fixes they have. So if you scroll down here, you can see what the latest one is. And so sometimes it doesn't put it all the way in the top. So I'll just search for Blender. Okay. See, there is a Blender 4.0. That is cool. Okay, yeah. If you have issues with the new Blender, Studio still has support for the 2.7 versions that the previous versions of Studio were compatible with. This is really awesome. So it works all the way. So I say let's go with the latest and greatest. Oh, I forgot to put up my green screen too. Let me do that real quick. Hello, Honda Mama. Let's see someone. Hi, Perry. I'm good. How are you? Dope. That should work. Ish. It's good enough. Oops. Okay. So, yeah. So it goes all the way to 4.0. So is there, I thought maybe I could go through the process of extracting. I actually need to set up my Blender as well, because Blender always installs in a weird spot. I'm gonna go to my camera real quick. I know this is wonky. I just need to look for my Blender install real quick. I found it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, what a weird spot to put that. Okay. Okay, so I have 4.1. So that is what I'm using. And this is basically what it looks like when you open it up. Um, I wonder if I could like reset because I asked you a few questions. There we go. Okay. So I just loaded the factory settings. Oh my God, Perry. Oh my gosh, Perry. I'm actually wanting to go to TwitchCon. Do you have my Discord? You should DM me about that. Because I'd be very interested in that. I've been looking to go. Okay, so I just reset all the settings to the base, and we just have a cube in here. So like, let's just kind of look around. Now, what's cool, I did notice this when I looked at it a little bit before, is up here at the top. Can you guys see my mouse? Okay, I know. Like, yeah. If I need to make my mouse bigger, I maybe can. But basically, you have these pre-set up options that are really helpful. So we have layout, modeling, sculpting. So basically, what's really awesome is these setups are really quick to change in between, and they're already ready to go. And that's nice because the old one, I didn't really have this option of switching between layouts really quickly. And it looks like you could set up your own workspace, which is awesome. The UV editing is one of the most helpful tabs, I would say. Same with texture. Well, I don't know about texture painting, but just rendering is a big one. And basically the difference between all of these, I guess, like scenes is you can see like even on the layout one, see how there's like different windows? Like this right here is a window. This is a window. This is a window. And then this. And you can also, like if we were to make our own, let's just make our own for example. Oh, you can even look at all this. Okay. Let's do. Okay. Semi setup is what we'll call it. So what's cool is you can add more windows and change windows. So right here, you can adjust the size of the windows. Same with this guy. Same with this guy over here. You can also change what's in each of these windows. So if you go and click here, so it's always the top left. And so you can see we have the 3D viewport, image editor, UV editor, compositor, texture node editor, which actually is like, for me, that's like a big, I use that a lot. So we might add that in. Shader. So the way I work is Blender I pretty much use only for modeling and like the UV maps, and sometimes I'll test out textures and stuff, but I don't actually make a lot of the textures in here. And I did initially, you can bake shadows, and I'll show you how to do that. If we don't get it to it today, we'll do it next week. But a lot of times people maybe bake a few things, but for Sims specifically, we don't do a lot of rendering in Blender. And maybe some other creators do, so that's not totally overarching. But to make things simple for you, like, let's just like look at it, because Blender can do so many things. It can get overwhelming, so you don't need to worry about shaders for now. At least we'll just put it like that. Okay, and I'm pretty sure if you is it what's cool about I just noticed about Blender 3.0 or 4.0 is at the bottom. See where my little mouse is? It says change frame, pan view, and then it changes depending on what window you're in. That is really nice. Call menu. This is kind of what I was looking for. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll get back to that. I want to finish what I was doing over here. So, we can, I'm pretty sure Alt in the old one, like if you went on a corner. Oh, here, see, I don't know if you guys saw that, but look, I just split this guy. Control will make it snap. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I gotta make this one whatever I want. So why don't we go to texture node editor? Or the dope sheet is actually useful when you're doing animations. So some of the stuff you do, oh yeah, see, it's even under the animation tab. Let's see, spreadsheet. Oh, this is awesome. What? Okay, for me, I'm like kind of a math data person like this. This is pretty cool. I don't remember them having that before. Asset browser. So if you can import assets in here too. I need to actually there should be a Sims setup, but I don't think I've linked Blender yet, so I'll have to do that in a sec. But yeah, so I would basically, oh look, here's like a text editor. So you could probably come in here. Oh, this is cool. So you could take notes. Ah, I really like that. Python console info. Yeah, so basically you can like customize this setup however you wanted to. Hi, Mama Cece. Thanks for coming again. And P-Dub Hall, thanks for being here. And Wakaria, hi. Thanks for coming all the way from Brazil. Okay, so I think that's basically what the different windows are. So like I said, I'm relearning where they place a bunch of stuff. So especially this 3D window we'll get into a sec, but I want to go through a few other things first. So this is how the old Blender was set up with your scene collection in the right. This is kind of like the default setup. And then I think this is the properties. Yeah, this is the properties panel. So a lot of the meat and potatoes of working with Blender is gonna be in this properties tab and also scene collection. Scene collection is nice because you can see like what materials put onto like a 3D object. Again, our lighting and like our camera is actually in the Sims game. So we don't need to worry too much about the camera because we're not doing a lot of rendering in Blender as a beginner. Right. So but that's how you can see if you have multiple objects. Right now we just have this cube, but like we could like duplicate this cube, right? And then we have 2 cubes, and then we can select them either over here in our what is this called, the outliner, or we can select them while we're in this view, and you can see it's matched up with what I'm selecting, the scene selection. Okay. So also, as we're selecting between these 2 cubes, they both have the same material because I copied them. But if they had different ones, as you select this, the properties for the highlighted object show up below here. So use nodes. I think that's what I was talking about. But then we need to find the node viewer. Which, see, I don't know where that is. Texture node editor. Okay. Oh, they call it. Okay, so. Okay, so it's the shader editor. Okay, so this is a good setup right here. Although I kind of wish, we'll see, we'll play around with this. Okay, so this is kind of how we're going to set up materials on our objects. We don't really have a material yet. Once we're done looking at the windows, we'll go and export something from Sims 4 Studio and get it opened up in here, and I'll show you how to link materials with it. So yeah, so also once you're in the properties window, then we have all of these different ones, and if you highlight over them for, like, hover over them for a couple of seconds, it'll tell you. So again, rendering, if we want to, like, sorry, I don't mean to say like a lot. If we want to render things like ambient occlusion, shadows, we would use render. But that's a little bit further out. Output this is for rendering. Again, something we're not too worried about. So I typically don't even worry too much about these. The only thing you'll want to worry about is when you are doing like the shadows or ambient occlusion. There are settings in here for, you want to make sure the image it's rendering isn't grainy, and you want to have the right number of samples and stuff like that, and how many light times the light bounces and stuff. But again, we don't need to worry about that for this first lesson. The scene properties. So the scene is basically our 3D viewer. But also if there are some modifications you can do with actually animating the object, or there's also these different settings you can apply, like if you're animating cloth or doing collisions. So a lot of that is set here. So you can see like keying set, simulation, the gravity, but also like units. We don't really like use units actually in, like, it's 1-to-1. Like there is no units when you export an object. It's in like square sizes. So for Sims, again, you can put that to none or leave it metric. It doesn't really matter as long as you're sticking to, like, 1 in Blender is 1 tile in Sims. Okay. So world, let's see. I think the world. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is this background. We can just play with it and see. I don't think anything's changed. Like, it kind of seems like something's, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know what the default was. But yeah, you don't really need to worry about this stuff. That's kind of the nice thing for if you're just starting. There's a lot. That's why I'm trying to, like, go over this, but I don't overwhelm you too much, because a lot of times you don't need all this stuff. This transform is actually particularly helpful, but it looks like it's also over here. So you used to be able to tab this open and closed. Oh, no, sorry. Tab goes in and out of select. I'll go over that. There was a way to, like, pop this out in the last one. I forget what it was. Maybe spacebar. But yeah, this transform is important, but you kind of have it over here in the 3D viewer, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. The modifier, that's what I was talking about when you can do like collisions and stuff. We don't need to worry about that today. Properties, like honestly, you're gonna be mostly just concerned with material if you're trying to like preview or look at a UV map or something like that. And like the rendering, you know, that's basically what you need for those two. If you go up here, file, if you're just starting, go to properties, which should be, let's see. Oh, here's another thing too. Once you get a setup you like, you can save it as a startup file. That would like literally save it like you would start every time with like these two cubes in this view. So, I do normally save that. I wouldn't save it in this configuration yet. But also it seems like with this new option of being able to add workspaces as tabs along the top might make it so that's not that big of a deal. Because as long as it saves like our new Simi setup. Can we move it to the front too? No, you can't really move it. Okay, I am trying to find properties though, and it used to be up here. Preferences. Okay. So a lot of things you want to look at with the preferences. Let's see. Trying to see. Those all look pretty. I wouldn't mess with any of these to start. So the user interface, there are a few things that help. I at least know with 2.7, like there was this thing where you like the way you scroll, like to zoom in, like to be able to do this in 2.7, you had to do like a special setting. So just be aware of that. You can come in here and you can like really customize these, and they have people like make custom ones of all of these. The viewport, if you want to mess with the anti-aliasing, I've never had a problem with it. Let's see. So this is interesting. There is a way with materials. That's interesting how you can link them. I'd have to look into that more. Okay, the anime add-ons are really important. There are some already like pre-installed you can see. So you can go down and see a lot of like UV layout is an awesome one. I'm glad it's already installed. I think the Sims material set is in here, or it's installed somewhere else. But these aren't just the only ones that you can get for add-ons. Like you can look up stuff. These are just ones that are kind of trusted, tried and true. I've used TinyCAD before. I don't remember what it was. But a lot of these are super helpful. Like I think one thing the TinyCAD mesh tools did, it was like an intersect. It made a vertice at an intersect of two lines, which was helpful. Yeah, and like I'm just mostly Magic UV. You want Magic UV. That is so helpful. Oh my gosh. Very helpful. Wow. I'm really excited I got that. Okay. And there's more. Yeah, like I said, you can Google them. These ones are just normally trusted by Blender or have like a lot of downloads, really popular, that kind of thing. Am I going okay speed for everyone? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Um okay, here is part of where the zoom in, I think it just is standard now. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you can do in here. Okay, select with mouse button. I'm actually changing this because I accidentally clicked left, but if you guys learn with the left, if you are just installed it, it'll prompt you, what mouse button do you want to use to click? Most people would choose left. However, I learned in 2.7 and it is the right mouse button. And I hadn't used Blender for a while. And so when it pulled up, I clicked left and I've been struggling to get it back. So yes, make sure you do if you're new, do left. I mean, do whatever you're comfortable with. But just for me, I am going to choose right. And what I'm just mostly telling you this, I'm doing this because that's how I learned in 2.7, but you don't need to do that and suffer like that because it's backwards. Okay, alt middle mouse drag action. So what that means is when you're holding alt, this stuff is actually really helpful. I'm gonna put this off to the side real quick. So all of that is about navigating around the scene, so the middle mouse action, it says is orbit. So we're going like closer in and out. Maybe I have to apply for it to, yeah. And then the alt middle mouse drag. So when you're holding down alt and dragging, oh, okay, whoa. That is interesting. Okay. Yeah, wow, that was interesting. Okay. So it's like changing orthogonal views. That's interesting. I don't know how often I would use that. Okay. These are all 3D view. So here's where I was struggling. These so these are like all the different keybinds. I couldn't find them last time I looked, but I'll have to look. This is important here. I do have a NVIDIA card. So if you do have a good graphics card, you can use this option here to tell it to use your graphics card to do the rendering. Because there is some rendering done even just like in 3D view. Like it is being rendered to you in the 3D view. So just tell it it's easier on your computer, basically. So yeah. Let's see. Autosave 2 minutes. That is pretty decent. That works good. And then file pass. Oh, this is cool. What I do need to know. Oh, this is cool. Oh, now you guys know my real name's Victoria. It's my name when I'm in trouble. Um, I don't, I don't know. Documents Blender. That is like, see, that's what I mean. Why isn't it in my like applications folder? Why is it in its own folder? Blender always installs in a weird place. Hi, Honda. Honda's mama. Okay, so you just got a gaming laptop. You're ready to relearn making some CC. Well, welcome. Thanks for. We're just going through the setup for Blender right now, so you haven't missed much. We're gonna connect Sims 4 Studio here pretty soon. I think we're about ready for that. So I'm gonna open that. Yeah. And while we're waiting, if you guys haven't already, you guys know the deal. You should like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified next time I go live, I'm going to be doing a whole summer series about learning how to make CC. So we're starting with Blender, and then we'll go in XML, a little bit of tuning and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll also be posting like my schedule of how we'll be moving through the classes every week. So. And the reason that updated is like anytime Sims 4 you get like a patch update or the game itself updates, Sims 4 Studio will need to update as well. Perry, yeah, my super fun craft stuff. Yes, I'm excited for you guys, the frames. Yes, if anyone wants to know, Friday night we're doing crafts. We're making mini Sims art frames. And all the ones I'm making on the live stream, I'm going to give away to people who come to the live stream. I'm going to make them and send them out, but we're going to put magnets on them and remake little mini Sims artwork pieces, magnets. It's going to be so fun. My sister's going to come. We're going to be hanging out all night. So, yeah, if you have nothing else to do on your Friday night, you should come hang. Okay, so funny. Everything is in caps. I did all caps in the beginning, but I'm like not a fan of all the caps. Now that I'm like, can we do that instead? Okay. Gosh, even the brackets with my name in the beginning. I did that for so long. I don't know why. I thought it looked cool. All right. So what do you guys, okay. So if you don't know Sims 4 Studio, we're going to focus on Blender today. So I don't want to go too much through it, but what you need to do is you do need to link Blender to, oh, did it just find it? I didn't link it. I don't think I did. Well, it looks like it found it. Oh, these are for the face masks on Sunday. I went and extracted those. Okay. I don't know if that's the right. That just seems like a very generic blender. Let me go try and find it real quick. See. See, like that does not exist. The Blender Foundation folder. Yeah, where is it? Oh, look, it doesn't have it. So, okay, I didn't save this as the default, so we will go back here actually while we're here. Let's go default save startup file. Because now, if we load up Blender, it'll pop up with our guy. Okay. Oh, or it should. I don't know, we'll have to figure that out. Right now, I'm trying to figure out where do you keep all of your... Where is all of your startup data? Here's where I don't know where to find how to link it. I guess we'll try to export something. I cannot find where that Blender is. I can't find that folder on my... No idea. Okay. We'll see. Okay, what do you guys want to clone? Jacob, for the craft on Friday, I sent out a link to my patrons for the Amazon, which I'll link out on Friday for everyone. But I'm also just going to be I'll be doing versions with these resin frames that I bought. My sister's coming over. She's going to be doing versions with air clay and cardboard. Just so that way we can, even if like you can't afford to buy a frame, like mini frame, you can just, all you'll need to do is print out the printout, and then or if you don't have time to make the printout, you can at least make the cardboard cutouts with us. We'll tell you how big to make them, and then you can do the printout later if that works. But yeah, so we should these frames, I just looked at mini frames on Amazon, or they sell them at Michael's and sometimes Walmart and stuff. Hobby Lobby, Joann's, they're all over. So yeah, but you can also do the cheaper low cost option with air clay or cardboard with my sister. Let's see. What do you guys want me to look at? See me chugging my Monster? Well, since I'm sober, I treat myself to one Monster a day. And I normally have it earlier in the day, but I didn't. So I'm having it now at 5 p.m. because I'm feeling really motivated. Actually, it's because I took a nap today, and I'm not a napper. I never nap, but I did after I went skating during lunch. And I just felt like taking a nap when I got home. So I was like, I need to be productive tonight because it was not today. These are kind of fun. I think these are like an easy... Okay, Perry says curtains always need more swatches. So we can get into swatches. I was more gonna show you guys like UV maps and stuff like within Blender today, just because there's so much with that. I think these might be... Cars wants to know if I could do a tutorial on how to make your Sims 4 DIY keep it clean shower. Yeah, I could do that at some point. So, what specifically about the keep it clean? Because a lot of it is just like decor objects. Are you talking about like the doors? Because like there's little tricks I played with that set. Like the doors, I technically cloned, set them. Let's see, what did I do with them? I think I cloned a regular door, but then I ended up using like gate tuning. I've gotten pretty clever with a lot of this stuff, I will tell you. I actually like, because I didn't want to do scripting, so I really challenged myself to like go around that, and I came up with pretty clever solutions. Specifically that being using a gate for the door for the shower. But also part of that is like with the decorations, you need to make sure to set the footprints right and all of that. So the Sims route correctly to the shower. But otherwise, the shower part of it is just like a regular, like you could look at the like the dorm shower head, stuff like that, because that's just like a standalone shower head. Try and keep your stuff clean. Never work out of your Sims 4 testing folder. That's a big no. You always want to make sure you have like a working folder. Obviously with Blender you wouldn't, but even as you're making packages, just make sure you're not using your testing or sorry, your like mods folder in your the Sims EA folder. I always keep my stuff separate, and then when I'm ready to like test an iteration in the game, I'll just like copy and paste that into my mods folder. Coco Mama, does this only work with Blender? Does what only work with Blender? Sims 4 Studio? Yes, I believe so. What should I just, I guess blue. I think these are like awards. Oh, they're lamps. Yeah, Sims 4 Studio like does work with Blender. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's pretty much just with Blender. We won't get into Blender today, just because there's a lot here, but this is actually good. This has 2 different textures. So just looking at it quick, it's got a drop strato and 2 Fong groups. So the Fong is the shader. This is like a Sims 4 Studio thing. Oops. See, I already forgot all the controls in here. But basically this plumb bob is its own object and this little base is its own object. So, we'll want to okay, see, I knew it. I knew that Blender path wasn't right. I knew it. Okay. How, this is, I'm Googling how to find where Blender is installed. Okay. I think we got it. So, oh, that's Mac. Where's my Windows? Linux. Okay, it says, this is what I'm looking at. User profile, app data, roaming. But there's only Adobe. There's no Blender. I'm so confused. Like that's not where it is though. I wonder if Why can't I find it on here? Maybe here. Let's try this. Program files, then Blender Foundation. Dude, I like cannot find this. I'm telling you. I found like my 3.0 one. Okay. Shoot. I think I found it. Desktop. It's on my desktop? What is happening? I don't know. I don't know how to find this. I'm like totally lost. I've been struggling looking for this for like a few days. Today's not the first day. Oops. Uh-oh. Oops. I did not mean to open my Cricut. Yeah, man. And the thing is, it won't let me export. So whatever. I'll just point to an old version. It just kind of sucks because it's like I want... Yeah. Okay, so documents, whatever. We'll just go with... I mostly wanted to go through this with you guys in case you had the same problem, but hopefully it installs just fine for you guys. I don't know where else to go. So, I'll just point to a different version of Blender. Yeah, while this is loading, how's everyone else doing? Would it be possible to right click on your Blender shortcut and have it show? That's what I thought, right? But when I right click on it, it's just like, and then right click on that, open. I think it just opens it. Yeah. Where are you saved? Where are you starting from? The reason it's also weird is because I installed this like a way I don't normally install it. So, yeah. Cool. I'm smiling because my brother's just upstairs singing right now. It would be really great if we didn't have to have Blender pointed. Okay. I found at least where Blender 3.4 is. Copy as path. Oh my god, it's in my downloads folder. Oops. Okay. Now can we export? Export mesh. Yay. Okay. Blue Plumbo. We're shaking. We're shaking. Help save system info. Whoa. It's a lot of info. Oh, look, right? Oh my gosh. Thank you. You solved the mystery. Let's curious. Okay, first of all, file, defaults, save startup file. Okay. File. I think you can make this. Okay. Actually, before we jump into that, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break, and then we'll hop into importing this and all the settings there. So give me just a minute or two. I'll be right back. Turn that down a little. Okay, so we did find where the path was, although I think it will have a problem with the double backslash. So I'm gonna go here and save that. So just Control C. Okay, so this is where I want to put it. And the reason you do kind of want the updated one, I think because it like links, we'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it might link like the Sims tools in there. because there is an option like when you and maybe it only shows up if you have something exported. We'll look. A few other quick settings in this folder. You can show save files in Explorer and it'll pop up like a window where you save something. I don't like that. I think it gets in the way, so I don't really use it. Oh my goodness, my Bookie just showed up. Hold on. We'll see her. Bookie, come here. Oh, come here, Bookie. Good. She'll sit on my chair. Watch. She'll just get on there. Oh, Bookie, you say hi. You just want to say a lot of things. You just have a lot of things you want to say. This is just her stream. Should I just leave? Lots of important things. What do you have to say to everyone? She is so sweet, my little baby girl. She's the one who had her leg all hurt. And you guys helped her. Are you gonna go out soon? She's like such a gentle giant. She is just so sweet, but she does not like she just sat. OMG. Just resting her sweet little head on the keyboard. Oh my god, I can't. Oh, she's so cute. Okay. I know you guys didn't come here for my dog. Okay. Come here. Can I sit? Can I sit on the chair? Come here. Go down. Go down. Oh, we have animal number 2 in the house. No! Oh, it just popped back up by itself. Oh my god. That was so good. Okay. We're focused. Okay, Bookie, you have to get down. You have to get out of my chair. Thank you. Okay. Mandy! My sister's here. I think. If that's my sister, Mandy. Okay, so we shall save this here. And let's see. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and so you can see this is like kind of transparent. Hi, Amanda Hedgehog to be exact. You can see this is transparent, and there's actually a really cool way. I'm gonna grab one of these other ones. I know all of them aren't transparent. Aren't they pretty close up here? I think I just scrolled by them last time, right? Yeah. So one of these like isn't transparent, or we could find a different one, but yeah, I'll show you how to, let's like just grab this one for example. And what is this? This is the green light. I'll show you how we can preview other textures on the same thing. If possible. It actually might not be because these look like different ones. But whenever you have a CC object you want to export, if you hit Control-Shift-C, just like in-game, in Studio.Export All, that'll export like all the textures. Ooh. It does not like... thought I broke something. It's tricky. I don't really know what to do here. Let's just see what it output, I guess. That's kind of what I do sometimes when I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I think this was what I did. Oh, this is what I did today. So this is the one I just exported straight, right? Instead of the Control-Shift-C, I'm pretty sure, right? Or honestly, sometimes the meshes actually do have issues, but let's try and export this just by itself. Amethyst, you said if you remember right, something was removed recently. What are you talking about? Shoujo Tora, hopefully I said that. Welcome. It's your first time chatting in here. Welcome. I think, so remember I had it at the Blender 3.01 and then I moved it to the 4.1. I think whatever path I did for the 4.1, you guys should not have as many problems as me. If you get the file path figured out, it should be fine. But what's so cool is, so before, this is awesome the way it's set up. So the texture's already on here when you open something that's from Sims 4 Studio. Now you'll see we talked about the windows in Blender earlier. And when you export something from Sims 4 Studio, the window setup is like this default Sims setup. It's not something we did. So I normally would like copy this into my setup. But maybe we can set, I don't know, like a default up here. You'll see here, there's Studio Mesh 0. And if you can see, so to move around, this is the middle mouse button I'm grabbing to rotate. And then I think shift middle mouse moves up and down like this. So you'll see this has an orange outline when I'm selecting it here. So Studio Mesh 0 is this shadow layer. Studio Mesh 1 is this gold base layer. Studio Mesh 2 is the plumb bob. Now that matches up. Let's go to the blue one. So that matches up with this guy, which we can't select here, but you can see here the order they're in. The first one is the drop shadow. So that's Studio Mesh 0, Studio Mesh 1, Studio Mesh 2. So that is important to know what order they're in, because if we are to like use, depending on what package file you use as your base, you need to match up those mesh groups when you import. But yeah, we'll focus more on Sims 4 Studio later. Let's like just kind of play around with Blender for the moment. So you can see there's this rig. So the rig data is exported from Sims 4 Studio, but it actually doesn't do, like if you move the bones or anything in Sims 4 Studio, or sorry, in Blender, it doesn't actually change in Sims 4 Studio. You have to make those changes in Sims 4 Studio. But you can use the rig, especially if you're doing slots, to like find locations of where you want to move it to. So the rig is kind of extra data. Again, we don't really care about the camera or the lights because that's just extra noise at this point. Woo! I just ripped out my earring. It's extra noise at this point that we don't really need. Because we're really not rendering. So just a lot of times, I would copy and paste this to a different window. And mostly the reason for that being is because I didn't want all this other stuff. But another way we could do it, and probably a better way to do it, is to click. So I did hide it by clicking this guy here. you also see there's this camera button. So when you do renders later on, you can actually disable certain objects from being part of the render group by clicking this guy right here. So in order to make changes to like these cameras or lights, they actually need to be on. And then we'll select it. You can see it's highlighted. And then to delete it, we'll hit X. And then it'll ask us to confirm. All right. These lights are up high. You can see them up here. So to kind of see like actually how far away these are, again, this is middle mouse to pan. Like these lights are the default lights that, like I said, that exports with Sims 4 Studio. This is how it exported for 2.7 as well. And you can see this like tiny little arrow up here. If you click it, it shows you more of these. And I think it's like, okay, T. I'm hitting T right now. I wish there was a way. I'll find a key overlay for next time. Hitting T opens and closes this. Excuse me. And then this guy is just toggled right here. But as we click on the different ones, you can see the location is changing. So these are up in the Z direction. So you can see our coordinate system here. And also if you click on this, this is a new feature with the Blender 3.0 and up, is this like rotation right here. So you can just click on this, and yeah, it is kind of nice because it makes it really easy to go around. This guy's so small, so it's kind of funny. I'll just rotate him there. But yeah, so you can leave these lamps. You don't have to mess with them. But if all this stuff is possibly like overwhelming you, like you can just delete it. We don't need it. Yeah, it just... or do whatever you want. But now we just have these three guys. So you can see here, this has a material set. And the reason we can tell that is because of this guy here on the right, on this little icon. And if you look down here on the properties window, you can also see the matching icon for that. So let's go look at the material. So it's just diffuse, and it's a principled BSDF. I forget exactly what that stands for. Hi, Miss Brina. Oh, Miss Brina. That's like how I processed it. Hi, Miss Brina. Welcome. So yeah, I've always used nodes, and this is where Jacob. Oh, and hi, Krista. And Jacob. Moving around was the thing that you struggle with. That is really, it's time in the software, and just having an idea of what you need to know and what you don't. Like I said, there's a lot of settings here that can get overwhelming. So one of the biggest things that'll help you move from around in Blender is knowing how to change windows and how to set it up with the few things you want. So let's look at this window, for example. Here is our 3D viewport. You pretty much always want a 3D viewport. Over here, again, we have the outliner. On the top left of each of these subsections is where you can change what they are. Down here, this is the properties. This properties window shows the properties for what you have selected in the 3D window or the outliner window. Okay, so as we move, the properties change there too, beneath. And if we were to go into here, I just went into edit mode. This is a UV editor, which we can see over here. And at the output of the Sims windows, exported things from Sims, they always have this playback view. This is good for animating, but we don't really care about it. So I would go and change this to a texture node editor. Now, I think they got rid of it. I need to figure out. So there's different ways of rendering. And Blender Render, I think they completely got rid of in this. But I've only used the node editor. I've never used it like this way. So see how it has this option to use nodes? That's what I would do. So I'm going to click use nodes. Oh, and I forgot, it's not the texture node editor, it's the shader editor. So yeah, so these are kind of the windows you want. So if you can be able to open up the windows and move into this. Now, the reason I like to copy and paste sometimes my Sims 4 Studio export into a different Blender window is because if you open up a new Blender window and you do have a setup saved, like remember I had this 2 cube setup, right? My windows are already set up in this view. So I could just copy and paste them without having to go in every time and reset up my view. But I'll look up how to set up a default one of these guys and maybe learn that for next time because that'll help a lot. For now, we'll just stay in this guy. We pretty much have everything. So what's cool here, we don't need to worry too much about materials right now. I'll show you how to change those in a second. What's nice is it's already set up for this. Let's look at just handling this object. What do we do with it now that we're here? So like I said, we have 3 different objects. The drop shadow is really important for making things look good in the game. Let's not focus on it right now. Let's just focus on the plumb bob. So I'm going to hide those 2 other elements. And so this is just our generic plumb bob right here. So we can see it's got this mesh skin. So I'm pretty sure it's under... There used to be... Okay, so if you go under data, the UV maps, we'll show those in a second, but this is where we find stuff about the transform bone. You can see that up here. UV maps I'll show in a second. I have no idea what color attributes are. That's new. No idea what any of that stuff is. Okay, so here, do you see custom properties, Sims 4 Studio value? So edit the property value, cut 2. So this is, you need to keep track of this because when you import back into Sims 4 Studio, it needs to be the correct cut. So drop shadow 0, Fong is cut 1. This Fong, which is the base, is cut 1. The second Fong is the plumb bob, which is cut 2. So you can kind of forget about this if you're in the groove. I don't really worry about my import settings until I'm ready to import. So there's a lot of things you can do, in Blender working with the shape where you're not having to go back and forth in between Blender and Sims 4 Studio. So you can just sit tight in Blender for a while. And then just when you're getting ready to import, get everything cleaned up. So yeah, because it's a lot to worry about. So what's nice is with all of the stuff that's exported from The Sims, it comes with a UV map already. So how you look at that is in edit mode. So this 3D viewer, we can switch back between like this while in 3D view. We can switch back. I forget what this general view is called, but if you hit tab, it goes into edit mode. So I guess view mode and object mode and edit mode. See, it says it right down here. So tab goes in between object and edit mode. And when we're in edit mode, you can see here on the left, this is popping up. This is our UV map. So the reason it's called UV is because of the coordinate system. So we probably all know from math the XY coordinate system. Well, the U is the same as X, V is Y. And that's just the coordinate system they use for stuff like this. So basically it's just X and Y. U is going this way, V is going this way. And you can see that over here. I mean, It's even giving it to you in X and Y. So, but that is where UV comes from, at least. So once again, we're popping out these tools on the side, and you can see there's another little arrow here. And I think T will pop this out too. Let's see. Yeah, T pops out the tools. T for tools, for tool popping out. And then that's got a lot, and you can kind of hold on to these. A lot of these have their own hotkeys. But we'll worry about that in a sec. We're just figuring out how to get around here. So you'll see when I had everything selected, everything is orange and selected, it shows up over here. But if I go and I click somewhere else, it goes away. So there's a few different settings and what you can do. So to select everything, you hit just A all day, baby. And so I don't know exactly where the setting is, but it's basically keeps things in sync, and we want to be kept in sync. So at least for now, there's times where you don't, and there's times where you do. Okay, so UV sync selection. Keep UV in edit mode, mesh selection in sync. We want this, and the reason why is, let's click it, and you'll see it keeps the UV map on the whole time, and then as we're clicking the different nodes, it's highlighting where those are. So that's very helpful. There are times when you want to toggle this sync on and off, and that's because it'll end up so right now these are all separate vertices, but if you were to create something possibly like from scratch, they may have connected vertices. So you just want to make sure, yeah, I'll show you when we get there. I don't want to overload you too much, but basically, yeah, keeping them in sync shows you where they are. It can become problematic when you remove doubles, because that'll link two vertices together. And if they're, I'll just show you what I mean. Okay. So I'm going to create a duplicate of this, but to do that, let's hit, why is my keyboard not working? A to select everything, Shift D to make a duplicate, X to restrict movement to just the XY direction. And then this is where I got confused last time. So because it used to be on the side over here to remove doubles. And like, I don't know where that is anymore. So I know you can do it this mesh cleanup, and then you do, where is it, merge by distance, but there used to be an easy way to do it. Okay, and so if you see, look how different this looks now between the two, and that's because we removed the doubles. Sometimes you want to remove the doubles, and there's a lot of different reasons why. It makes things easier to work with. And so if you see here, I am just right clicking, and the reason I'm grabbing a vertex is because down here at the bottom, you can change your selection mode. This is vertex select, edge select, and face select. So depending, if I had face select, I could come here and select faces. If I had edge select, I can come here, select edges. Vertex select, I can come and select vertices, right? So if I just come here and grab a vertex, I'm going to hit G to move. I'm only grabbing this one vertex. If I come over to this guy, you can kind of see the difference on the UV map, where this is highlighted, only like this one vertex here. And then on the right, it kind of like is branching the color. That's because it's grabbing, it's all connected over here. So if I were to do G on this one, see how it like moves the whole thing? That's what removing doubles does. So it is helpful because if you're trying to like just move things by eyesight, and make sure that you're like moving all the faces because you don't want to leave little gaps. But it will look weird in the game if you don't remove doubles. Or there's lots of different ways we can make it to look at it differently. So, but for demonstration purposes, what I wanted to show you here is when you have the sync enabled and you move this, it'll move like all of the vertices. And maybe this isn't like the best example, but like when you do it unsynced, you have to click all for it to show. And like, I don't know, this maybe wasn't the best example. I'll find a good example to display what I'm looking for. Hi, Magical Mira. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're just learning Blender. One way, eventually when you import this Plumb Bob, you'd want those edges sharp. So let me show you how to do that. So we'll go through and grab all those edges. Since this is just all the edges, but you could also hold down Shift while you're selecting something. And then again, this is where it's different here, which is where I'm get a little confused. Edge. So we're gonna mark it sharp. And do you see how it made it look like this? That's a shader. So when we're marking it sharp, it turns these edges blue, and it says, even though these vertices are connected, display it as if they weren't. So that's what marking sharp does. And this is actually a really good tool because I'll show you in Sims 4 Studio. If we leave these seams, these sharp edges, in our objects, when we're importing, we do a certain setting to import our object while respecting these sharp edges. And it makes things just cleaner, and it imports and splits everything into Sims 4 Studio really nicely. So, is that little emoji Magical Mirror? It looks like a little bunny. Gosh, but there used to be this really awesome tool thing on the side, and it's frustrating because these aren't the tools that I want. These are like, I don't know what happened to all the tools that were over here. I need to look because it is a little frustrating where everything went. That's where I get lost too, is like right here, because I don't know where everything went that used to go here. Yeah, lots of UV stuff over here. I don't know what texture lock is or preserve UV. This world, yeah, Social Bunny. It does look like Social Bunny. That's so cute. I love that. Magical Mira's on Discord, and her emojis, she's got the Social Bunny emojis. They're really cute. I actually have those exported. I've been wanting to do so. If anyone else wants them, I should post them on my website or something because they are really cute. But I love your original uniqueness, Mira. This would be fun. Maybe I'll do some work on my own time to figure out what all of these do. I know some of them. World scale UV is really nice because if you have multiple objects and you've scaled or sized things differently and you've made your UV maps at different times, it'll scale everything proportionally on the UV maps, which is just really awesome. UV mapping is like an art of its own. So basically, I'm just trying to go show you how to get around Blender today, and then I'll be doing lessons all week, or sorry, all summer, and we'll move on to more complicated things. So this is kind of just like day one. What are we doing in here? Yeah, so we would want to select all of these edges, mesh, and we'll do edge, mark sharp. Right, so it looks all good now. So yeah, this UV map. So we can see by clicking on Studio Mesh 2, it's got this material button. If we go down here, oh wow, okay, this is set up super nice. Wow. I'm actually really impressed. I didn't used to do this stuff. The alpha blend, so it's setting it correctly. If you look in Sims 4 Studio, the alpha is transparency. So there's layers of an image. There's red, blue, green, A, RBG, A. Alpha is the A in that, and that's transparency layer. So it's a 50% transparency. And I'm curious if that's actually what the setting is. I'm going to go here in Sims 4 Studio and see. I'm going through this fast because I just want to kind of... Oh, you know, I guess it would be set in the material. So I wonder where they got that. I'll look into that. That's interesting. But yeah, over here it says alpha blend. I don't know what shadow mode is. But diffuse 2. So what is diffuse 2? It is this guy right here. And right now it's just white. And there's different display modes in this viewport. And see how this is colored, but this one isn't? And I think that's because we did the use nodes. Yeah, let's see if the color goes away when we click. Yeah, see, it goes away when we hit use nodes. Okay, interesting. But the nodes are the only way I know how to do some of this stuff. So I think nodes are pretty important, I think. I'll watch some videos to see if they've changed. But basically, when you look at the nodes here, and again, they have the keybinds down here at the bottom, right? So left click is select, middle mouse is pan view, right click is select also. So you can always find those at the bottom. So it's got this image, right, that it's pulling, diffuse 2. So you can click here and see. So it's saying use this image, and what's cool is it's actually pulling up the image here. And when I tab it, it's going away, but, and this is what I don't love, is the UV editor used to, like, you could put the image behind it. But now it seems like you just have to go. Like, I want to see the UV over this. And you can't. And that's one thing I've never really liked with view. Oh, this is new, this sticky selection mode, the shared location or shared vertex. That's cool. Image, open. Yeah, I'll need to look to see, because the thing is you kind of need to see the image behind. Yeah, and I don't know how to get those overlaid. So that's something I'll look into next time. UV mapping can be really terrifying to start, but it's cool. it's cool how we work it. I think this might be a good. Crystal says, "Oh, I am glad you think I'm explaining it well. I think there's a few things I need to learn on my own time. I don't want to like waste your guys' time. There are some things I need to figure out. I need to figure out how to put an image behind here, and because this should be showing, and there used to be a way to do the output view, and there's these little things I can figure out, not waste your time. But I think what we can do is next week, someone said, yeah, out of nodes, but see, nodes is the way it used to be. So I'm like confused with that. But yeah, let's pick this up next week. So we have like our object in Blender. Let's really start looking at textures and UV mapping next week. UV mapping can be kind of scary, but once you know like a few tricks, it makes things a lot easier. And it's also cool. There's a lot of more advanced techniques. Like you can have multiple UV maps, and that can be extremely helpful. So making UV maps is an art, and it's actually kind of fun once you know how to do it. So next week we'll go over UV mapping. I'll do some background research on like how to set that background image with the UV editor, and have a setup. And then I'll also look into seeing how I can pin a tab on the top, because that would be really nice to. I'll make like a Sims setup and then have the default available for download on my website or something, because it is helpful to have a Sims specific setup, I think. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me, doing a few hours in Blender. This was really fun. I hope this was helpful. Perry, I will connect with you on Discord about TwitchCon. Amethyst, thank you for being here. Magical Mira, Miss Brina. Let's see who else. Perry, Krista Jacob, Amanda Hedgehog, Odin, H. Prune, as always, my friend. Honda's Mama. Thank you guys all for coming today. Cars, I don't know if you're still here. If you guys put some comments, if you guys have something you want me to look into more next time, put comments on this video on YouTube. Can you put comments on Twitch? Maybe you can, but yeah, throw them on here. I'll read them for next week. And yeah, we'll do like a part 2 UV editor series. In the meantime, anything you can do to just get time in Blender, I think it's just the more you go and try and play, just export one thing out of Sims 4 Studio like we did today and just play with it. Don't try and mess with it. Honestly, just like remove the doubles, play with the vertices, just move things around and see what happens. And that's just a good way to kind of familiarize yourself with something without having pressure of making anything of it. And I think that's a really good way to learn. It's not the way I learned. I went straight into how do I make a sectional couch. And I missed a lot of fundamentals. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go walk Berkeley. I don't know if you just heard her snore really loud, but you guys have been great today, and I will see you next week. Just a reminder, we are doing the craft on Friday. If you want to join me, we're making mini Sims art frames for our fridge. You will just need a few magnets. You can either get mini frames from Amazon, or you can make your own out of cardboard and air clay. So I'm going to be doing the version with the resin frames that I have here. And my sister's going to be doing it with me, and she's going to be doing cardboard and air clay versions. And I will have a printable for you all to print out with extracted artwork from the game, sized correctly for these mini frames and all of that. But it'll be really fun. It'll just be something to do if you have no other plans on Friday and are lonely and just want to come hang out and do crafts with me. Sims Crafts. I will be here. That starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, like and subscribe and follow me if you guys want to support all of this extra fun stuff that I do. It's a free way to support me, so I appreciate it. You guys have a great day. I'm going to walk Berkeley, and I will see you next time. Bye, Simmies.